see if I can get my cell phone. Yeah, let's go.
All right. This is Ted Hicks, Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com, with an actual 12 a.m. Eastern Time version of Late Night Parents. Mr. B is in the queue. Mr. B, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you been?
I'm doing well. We were talking for the past hour plus in pre-production about stuff that will never make a live stream. That's the best part, is the stuff we talk about before and the stuff we talk about after.
Yeah.
That never actually makes the stream. That's like the lost tapes. A lot of stuff to cover. I do want to get into Shohei Ohtani. You know, the person who's slated to get a $500 to $600 million contract.
Yes.
He tore his UCL for the second time in 5 years. I don't want to say anyone fumbled the bag. We want him to be safe and everything and all the above, but I would be so sick to my stomach, Joe. He's probably gonna leave about 200 to 250 on the table, because now you have a torn UCL, and he's gonna require Tommy John. Won't be able to pitch in 2024. Hopefully be able to pitch in 2025. But I don't know. That's my take on Ohtani.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, man. Yeah, he lose out on some money, man. And he's been hot. The boy been hot, man. It's a rarity when you can get yourself a good pitcher who can crack home runs, man.
Right.
Who can hit.
40 plus home runs, contact hitter. My dad and I are going to Citi Field because he said he wanted to see Ohtani. So we're going to go to Sunday's game. Sunday is a 12:05 Sunday game at Citi Field. And going to go there. We'll quickly move to go to present. Since I'm talking baseball, we get the baseball topics out of the way. Hang on. Let's see. All right, I'll go here. That's another topic who's going to talk about. And of course, it probably didn't render. Oh, it did render. To keep talking about baseball, the Mets are slated to retire Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden's numbers in 2024. It's about time.
Yeah,
Thank you,
man.
Steve Colin.
Legends, man. Legends,
man. It's just like, yo, this is long time coming. It's well documented, but Doc and Darryl coming up together in the 80s, winning the 86 World Series.
Yep.
The number retirement, the announcement happened today. I do still own a Darryl Strawberry jersey and a Doc Gooden jersey. Here's a picture of Doc and Darryl a few years ago. And of course, we remember the 30 for 30 ESPN with Doc and Darryl, where, you know, Doc wasn't looking so good. I'm going to keep it a band. He was still dealing with, He's
going through it, man.
He's going through it, but it's good to know that these gentlemen are going to have their jerseys retired.
Yeah, man. Strawberry rep for New York hard, man.
Yes.
Hard, yo.
You know,
the guys that carry New York on his back, man. New York baseball on his back. So
I do want to segue to rest in peace, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
got that news. Yo, you gave me the news because I was knocked out. I was knocked out.
Yeah,
I came home from a nap, and then I saw the our iMessage chat, the group that we're part of, and I was like,
yeah.
"What?" And I thought about it.
I said, yo, I'm just chilling because usually, I don't sit like I just snoop through at Twitter. I refuse to call it the other name. I just snoop through it and I'm like looking and I see what's the trending topics. I see Bray Wyatt. I'm just like, yo, he's coming back
Mm-hmm.
because I heard that he was steaming. He was meaning to be coming back. Look, I see the Triple H message, Triple H's tweet talking about Mike McDonald, if their dad hit them up and said that he passed. I'm like, wait, what? I'm looking through, I see all these RIP, RIP, RIP. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Right.
I'm laying here and I'm like, yo, just like yesterday or the day before Terry Funk passed away.
Right.
They announced Terry Funk passed away. I'm like, wow. Then you get hit and you're like, wow. Everybody who don't know, that's Wyndham Rotundo.
Yes.
Mike Rotundo's son, the nephew of Barry Windham.
The nephew of Barry Windham.
Yeah. Creative genius as far as, minds go. He was on the up and ups coming up, him and his brother Bo.
Yes.
Brother
Believe.
Bo, yes. Bo Leave. And he came up as a Husky Harris. Got reformed, did the whole Nexus thing in the WWE, but he came back as his own idea. Bray Wyatt, the Buzzards, and all that. And the Wyatt family, he was gone for a while. They released him. He came back. New character, new idea. Then he left. They kind of released him. Then they brought him back. He came back with this even different idea. We wanted to see what was happening with it, but creative, higher ups. But then we heard that he wasn't well.
Right.
He was both physically and mentally. Mentally because of the loss of his longtime friend, former wrestler Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper. Yeah, man, and he was carrying that for quite some time. He was also sick, but we didn't really know what was happening. Then they put news out that, he was going to come back and they had some plans in store for him. Only to hear that he's gone now. 36 years old. I'm 36. That's how it stings, man. For you to get to that point, your career, you make this career for yourself, man. Hit, man, hurt. Wrestling community is devastated right now.
Yeah.
Devastated. A man lost a son. Someone lost their brother. People lost their cousins. The wrestling community lost a amazing wrestling character, man. One hell of a creative mind. Dang. Sad, man. It's just sad.
Yeah, it's we talk about it every week. We talk about it privately in group chats. We talk about mental health. It's that's the one thing. I mean, a lot of people, I know a lot of people, just to segue, a lot of people clown players like Ben Simmons and, but it was something when you heard it from Kevin Love, you heard it from various athletes in multiple sports about mental health.
Yeah.
You know, it's like physical health, definitely. Mental health, because you don't know. Because you see your favorite hero, or you know, you wear their jersey, or you grow up, you have their poster on your wall or whatever like that
Yeah.
for your kids or whatever, and you don't know about someone's mental capacity, some of the stuff, some of the demons they're fighting, some of the stuff that they're dealing with. It's serious, and then we only know after the fact when you hear about, oh my goodness, whether this person. I'm not saying Bray Wyatt, but in certain cases when these athletes or your favorite heroes or celebrities or whatever, they take their lives and stuff like that, and you just sit there and say, well, what were they dealing with? Because you have all the money, you have all the money, you have all the fame, the wealth, the fancy cars, but they still can't find happiness.
Nope.
It's really sad. It's really, really sad. So, I mean, we send our condolences out to his family.
For sure, man. For sure.
And to echo Triple H's message, you got to respect their wishes.
Yeah.
I'm sure things are going to come out later on, but, it's still a shock for everyone.
Crazy. Horrible shock, man.
And it's just things like, there's so many different tips and there's so many different websites you can go to nowadays, because you think about where we are today and where we were like 20, 25 years ago. Two different places. Because like I said, back then, you mentioned mental health and it was like you were looked at like you were like weak.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's not the case. So I'm just glad, the additional amount of education that's out there nowadays, especially for our younger folks, because it's
Exactly. You know what I mean? People gotta look out, man. You gotta look out for your loved ones, man. Friends, family. Look up, check up on them, see how they're doing.
that's the main thing. You got to check up on them.
Yeah.
Call them. Do more than send a text.
Yup.
I sent such and such a text. Pick up a phone.
Yup.
Check a person. Just like, you know what? Or because it's something that you send a nebulous text message. Hey, I'm just checking on you. This is like open-ended.
Exactly.
It's like,
Tony D, what's up?
Tony D, what's going on, man? How you doing?
He checking in from work. Yeah, man. Make those phone calls. If you hit up on phone calls, that social media, do what you can, man, because you don't know what people really going through, man.
You don't. You don't. You don't. You really don't know until they open up, because they need that venue to open up.
Yep.
Because this world now is just, I don't know. Joe, I did not get a chance to see last night's debate. I did not. I will. I'm sure there's going to be. I'm sure on YouTube there's an abridged version. I don't know if it was like the previous Democratic debates when you have like 27 candidates up there all fighting for airtime, and the validity of the questions that they're being asked. I know Chris Christie was asked a question. His sole question, it was asked about UFOs. So here you are. You're out there for the world to see you. Yeah, I don't know how many people actually saw the debate, but the one question they ask you is about UFOs. You know, not that whether you can balance the budget and you can do this and how would you deal with, foreign policy, foreign affairs. Um, they ask you about UFOs. Not to say UFOs don't exist or anything like that, but I'm just saying that's the sole question. So you got all those candidates fighting for space to talk, elbowing each other, and you have the former president on, we're not calling it Twitter anymore. We refuse to call it X. Can we call it 10? I want to call it the number 10.
Mm.
It's like it's an X. It's an X. It could be the Roman numeral for 10. Everyone watched the Tucker and Trump recorded interview.
Yep.
In pre-pro, you mentioned 70 million people have viewed it already.
70 plus, yeah. Crazy.
He's like 50 points ahead of all the candidates, right?
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Who you got? Yeah.
Do we expect to see him up there ever?
At some point. I feel at some point we're gonna see him. At some point. Because it's crazy. It's insane, man. It's insane. It's like it's the inevitable, and it's people want to deny it, but I feel like it's the inevitable.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna see him up there. If we're not gonna see him up there somewhere now, somewhere down, we're gonna see him because this dude's already there. They're gonna try to throw what they're gonna throw, and the thing is that no matter what you do, the consensus is that there is millions upon millions of people who are riding with him as far as this election is gonna go.
It could be 4 indictments or 104 indictments.
Yeah. And you're gonna cause pandemonium.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that risk? He's up there. You got DeSantis who's second. Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy is right behind this dude and super close.
Yes.
Like they are literally neck and neck.
Yes.
And then it's like, who's behind them? Who's behind Vivek?
Scott or who else? There's just so many people running where you're just like, oh my goodness, come on.
Who's behind them? What's that lady name? She's in there too.
The former
Nikki Haley.
Yeah. The governor of South Carolina.
Too, yeah.
You got all of that.
But Vivek is shooting people down during the debate. He's talking. Mike Pence is there. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why Mike Pence is up there. You just grabbing at straws. When you got Chris Christie and Mike Pence up there, you just grabbing at straws.
Right. Vivek has a fresh outlook.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see people trying to downplay him and be like, oh, you don't know nothing about the politics. You don't know this. And you don't know about what is it?
About Washington, about the swamp, and all of this other stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. What's one of the? There's a key thing. The government, the policies. Yeah, these policies left and right. I'll tell you on mute.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, yeah, all these the trade policies and all these other topics. The abortion they talked about, people that think that, they're going to follow Trump. You believe in Trump and you're going to follow Trump. And Christie put his hand down. But Christie was riding that bandwagon in
He was riding
2016.
it.
Heavy.
Riding it.
Heavy.
It's like he was riding a bike.
And because Trump said, nah, we're not picking you, he's butthurt. So it's like, man. But I like the way Vivek was out there. Vivek was very calm, patient. He answered the right questions. Nikki Haley answered the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
I know the people don't believe in Pence like that because Pence was there as a vice president and he talks well, but he didn't really do much.
Nope.
He was just there to talk. He was the alley guy, the back alley guy. And then Chris Christie, Jersey don't believe in him. So nobody else is really following. We seen him make a clown out of himself to think he was going to get the vice president position. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Who was it? Oh my God, what's that dude, man? There's another dude that's in there. That was there.
The senator, Tim Scott.
The brother.
Tim Scott.
Yeah, he was out there too, and he was all right. For a little bit, he seemed to be a little bit monotone.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about certain things. It's just a lot of regurgitation of what he's done as far as interviews have gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing much, nothing really changed. He just stuck to his guns. But yeah, other than that, I mean, for the most part, that was it pretty much, man. It was just Vivek out there looking real clean, talking about he feels that, things got to change. He talked about the immigration situation and public schools.
Okay.
And how the importance of how people need to learn, the people need to be able to pick the schools, to choose the schools that the kids go to. And you need to put the money into the parents' hands, the parents of these students, so they could choose what school they need to go to and to prepare their children. And that's something I kind of looked at and I'm like, yeah, man. Because, in the past and somewhere throughout, depending on where the schools are, not every school's doing well, man. Not every school's doing well.
Right.
And it's just messed up that, you have kids that want to go to other schools, but some of them got to go to
their zone school.
Zone school, yeah. So it's like, I know I could do way better than this, but I'm forced to be in my zone school. So
that
it was some very good points that was made out there during that debate. I recommend you go check that out. If not, I think YouTube probably got some highlights of the key points. You know what I mean? And it's always good to see the Republican and the Democrat news channels to see how they play out these things. I always get a crack at it because they try to downplay on one point, but then the other point is like, what y'all gonna do on y'all Democratic debate? Like, I don't think the Democrats have a debate, right?
No,
they're not having a debate.
I don't think anyone else can.
Crazy
is going to run against.
And I mentioned that. I mentioned that at church, and people were like, "Yo," and I said, "Because they chased them out."
Yeah,
they chased them out. All your good runners, you chased them out. So who you got?
You got who you have, who you see,
and you're not going to put nobody else out there.
No,
man.
That's it.
No,
that's it. So,
man.
So competition, because competition is always good, right?
Yes, indeed.
Competition keeps you sharp. It keeps you as honest can be when you talk about politics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
It was foreign policy. That's how I was thinking about foreign policy. There you go. They always point that out with the young people. You don't have no idea. You never dealt with foreign policy and blah, 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 blah. But
does Vivek give you the feel of Andrew Yang a few years ago, or is it a different feel of it?
You know what Vivek Ramaswamy gives me the feel of?
What?
And I really sat and watched this debate. and I looked at all these other interviews that he's managed to get on and do.
Mm-hmm.
Exact Obama vibes. Exact Obama vibes. Because everything they say about Vivek is the same way they were saying about Obama.
Got it.
Where this guy come from?
Mm-hmm.
We need to know his history,
Mm-hmm.
his race, and what that stuff involves. He's young. What does he know about these policies and these things of that nature? Has he ever been in a higher, what level of government he was involved in? All types of all these things that even ourselves and folks before, when Obama was running for president, all those questions we asked him and they asked of him are the same questions we're asking of Vivek Ramaswamy.
Wow.
And that's bugged out, ain't it?
No, I'm with you on it.
Go back, watch that, go back to all those interviews and that debate,
mm-hmm.
and then watch this debate. And watch all the and you've seen some of the questions they asked Vivek in some of these interviews,
yes,
the Breakfast Club interviews, and all these other things.
They try to trip him up and everything like that,
and that's all the Democrats going at the Republican. Then watch when he showed up and Obama showed up on those same platforms, and then when he went against the Republican TV shows and all that stuff and whatnot,
yeah, okay,
watch them.
So I was thinking
same vibe.
Andrew Yang, but you're telling me Barack Obama vibes before he became president.
Yup.
Okay.
Exact Obama vibes. Yang, because of how he approaches things,
mm-hmm.
how he sounded, because that's that youthful, cool, calm demeanor.
Right.
But how he's been moving is the exact same way as Obama. The exact same way. And they keep trying to trap him in these crazy questions concerning the laws and the laws of the LGBTQ and a lot of this other stuff. And you see how he approaches those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to catch him in a loop. And it's like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not trying to single out groups. We're talking about the whole.
Got it.
And that's what I respect about him. So check that out, man. But I'm looking forward to the rest of these other debates when they come around.
Got it. I do have a question for you. Let's see. Do you like Chipotle?
Chipotle over the years, I like Chipotle. Chipotle is expensive, but I've learned how to get my money's worth out of Chipotle. Yep. But Chipotle be hitting, man. I like Chipotle. Chipotle pretty good.
This week we put out an article on how to score a free Chipotle burrito coupon this week. It was just announced on Chipotle's website that their trivia game was coming back with another installment. So ultimately, you go there, you test your trivia, you go to ChipotleIQ.com. You go in there, there's about 10 questions, it's multiple choice. You answer in true and false, and there's write-ins. And you have an opportunity to score a free coupon.
Chipotle burrito. Now, I got a question towards that.
Go ahead.
Is there a limit to fillings on the burrito? That's the question.
I don't think so. You know what? That's a good question.
Because if I'm getting me I'm going into Chipotle and I'm going to put this money on this burrito. Am I getting one of those type of burritos?
That's true.
You know what I mean? Or am I getting okay, we getting you a burrito, but it's not gonna be what you think. You know what I mean? We're gonna get you a little half scoop, little scoop here, this and that. You know, it's nothing big, but we looking for like that over $10 type burrito. That's what we want in our Chipotle burrito coupon. You know what I mean?
Got it.
A joint that's like £1.50 or something. Like, you know what I'm talking about? That big.
Yes.
You gotta hold it with two hands, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Some monstrous stuff, man. Shout out to the Chipotle workers too. Folks gotta roll those burritos. Skills, man. Skills.
When my daughter was in high school, she worked for Chipotle for about, I think, like a year.
Oh man.
She worked there on the weekends at our local mall by where we live. So funny going in there as and that's the embarrassing thing. Going in there as a parent, you see your child working, and you just pull out your phone and you just start recording.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yo, she was too through with me. She was too through.
Goodness. Ted over there, like, look at my baby. Look at my baby.
Look at her.
Hey, she like, oh my god.
Yo, so funny, man.
Oh.
Just got a couple of items. What was your take this week when they, all these fake and base debates? Hey, before we even get into Magic and Curry, Shannon Sharp keeps on winning, Mr. B. Shannon Sharp keeps on winning. So last week we were talking about him being a contributor on First Take.
Yep.
Now his podcast, the Shay Shay, his podcast is going with, he's partnering up with Colin Cowherd's The Volume.
Yep.
I said that's a good look. Because if you look at those podcasters, we had loved to probably see him over there at Wondery, which was acquired by Amazon, because it's all about exposure.
Yeah.
And good for Shannon Sharp. But so this week's
and hold on. Sidebar. You mentioned Colin Cowherd.
Yes.
I heard they may be trying to get Colin Cowherd back on ESPN.
Yes.
That is bonkers.
Yo, his contract is getting ready to come up.
Yep.
Within a year. If you look at ESPN, what are they doing? They're going for people who have followings. That might mean, hey, also take the Volume Podcast Network, place it right on the landing page of ESPN.com.
Yeah.
How much more exposure are you talking about? Right on the landing page. I read that story about, and I listened to a few podcasts over the past few weeks about Colin Cowherd. So Colin Cowherd was on the Marshan Oren Sports Media podcast about maybe 2 months ago. I listen to that podcast religiously every week. It comes out on Wednesdays. Okay. So I say that to say he was on for an hour podcast. And he talked about, which I think is great. He said, yo, I've been with Fox. I'm happy. I've been with them for like 10 years.
Yep.
They showed me a lot of love. He said ESPN has been reaching out over the years.
Yeah.
Over the years to have dinner to gauge where I am, because they know when he left, there was this huge, his following left with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ESPN radio is horrible.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It hasn't been the same, no. For a couple of the good shows they've had on radio, Guys got rid of those guys, man. Like, what the heck?
And don't get me wrong, Colin Cowherd has some horrible takes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he's
sure.
wrong a lot.
For sure.
You know, he might even be wrong more than both of us.
Oh, if you've seen his takes, whether
They're
it's
horrible.
football, basketball, baseball, yeah,
They're
he's
horrible.
had some, whoo,
But
especially his basketball and football takes.
He's got a following. And
yeah.
I think that's, I like the fact that he's carved out his own little niche. He's on Fox.
Yeah.
His TV show is simulcast on the radio, which I think, if you're a national host, I think your radio show should be simulcast.
Yes.
You know, period.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, the Don Imus and Howard Stern and the Mike and the Mad Dog from many, many moons ago. Your show should be simulcast if you're also on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, so it's radio on TV or TV on the radio, whatever you want to call it. They are, Joe, I think they are going to back the truck up for him.
Oh, major. Ain't no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And potentially have to buy his podcast network, or the podcast network gets placed right in the spin cycle, right on ESPN.com. So you go from, okay, let's just say you got 4 or 5 or 6 million followers, like, you know, like a Pat McAfee. You go into that ESPN vacuum where they've got like 40 million followers, and your show just multiplies. He would fix a hole in ESPN radio. He would fix it. He would fix it.
Major hole, yep.
Because that thing is broken. Joe, you ever turn to ESPN radio?
Yeah, it's hurt bad, man. It's hurt bad.
You ever turn to ESPN radio?
I've turned to ESPN radio. There's not much to listen to on ESPN radio. Know what I mean?
Yo, it's garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of very few shows listening to on the radio that are actually worth it. You know, and Stephen A. Smith probably got like what 2 or 3 of those shows, or on 2 or 3 of those shows. Dang, that's how crazy it is.
It's crazy.
So he's on this kind of like, yo, I'm good with that. Yeah, I gotta listen to those.
You know,
it's nuts.
You got Mike Greenberg, who does radio and who does a TV show.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith, who's the First Take, they just simulcast it on like Sirius XM.
Yeah.
They just take the TV show and like, yo, just put it here. Because you got to fill up the gaps.
Yeah.
And then you just got a bunch of people that you're just like, who are they?
Yeah, he's out there in the morning. Then he's out there with the other solo show that he does.
His solo show is fire.
Yeah, he does the ESPN solo show. Then he does his solo show.
Yeah,
then he does his show. That's great, yo. That man. Psh. I think he was watching Tony D, man. He was watching Tony.
Oh, he had to be.
I think that's why he had to.
He had to be.
He can't be working like that. That's crazy.
Joe, you ever turn on? You know, we all. Here's a beautiful thing. We always support each other.
Yeah.
All of us. We support each other. Yo, you ever turn on your phone or get a notification that Tony D is live? And I'm just like, yo, what show is he on? Sometimes I have to question. I was like, what show is he on?
What is he doing right now? Where is he at?
I click on it and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yo, where's he on? What is he doing right now?
You know,
at this time? What?
And a lot of times I look for his like music broadcasts, and I'm like, no, this is not the music broadcast. I'm like, oh, okay, right. But he just adds shows. He adds shows. I
Yeah.
think Tony D live streams. I'm comfortable with saying 6 out of 7 days of the week. He is the hardest working man in well, he used to be the hardest working man in Haps, next to Mike Bathurst.
Yep.
But nah, it's just I get it. I like it. I've always liked Colin Cowherd because I always thought he was funny. Because I was just like, yo, dude is just so wrong, and he's just, it's just you get to a point where, Joe, you do a 3-hour show and you don't take callers. You just pontificate up there.
Yo, he would go on a tirade and then say, first caller. I'm ready to take questions. First caller.
Joe, you get up there. Just imagine, Joe, you do a nationally syndicated show and you don't take callers for 3 full hours.
No.
I'm like, wow.
And then he'll go on and take callers. And God forbid you come at him the wrong way. Oh my God. Now you want to tear your head off on live radio, live TV. Like, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Yo. But I'm happy for him, man. We'll see where this goes.
Yes. Hey, before we go to this Magic and Curry topic, do want to give a big shout out, because I know we usually don't do shout outs, but I said to myself, weekly we will do shout outs.
Yes, indeed.
Sunday Night Smoke Show, Nonsensical
Yes,
Nonsense, Fireman Rich in the morning, his audio show, or the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday Twitch show. Of course, Tony D. Of course, Mr. B with the B-sides. Of course, Brian whenever he's gaming or whenever he's jumping on one of our shows, always adding commentary. Carmen with all about the joy.
yes, indeed.
Those are the immediate people. Helen Wallace,
Yes, indeed.
who does her radio live stream show once a week, and there's so many others, independent voices that are out there. Yes. That Information Man,
yes,
who does his live stream. Like I said, there's a lot of folks out there that are doing a lot of great work and have stayed true to their craft and everything else like that. And we can always look for their show. So definitely do want to shout them out. We'll do my best to make this a weekly shout out for various people. Joe, there was a fake embrace debate that came up this week.
Yeah, I seen it.
Dude, purest point guard, and there were people up there saying Steph Curry is a better pure point guard than Irvin Magic Johnson. I grew up idolizing Irvin Magic Johnson. My son grew up idolizing Steph Curry. There is at least 30 years in between my son and myself. Yes, I did buy him a Steph Curry jersey, but I told him, pure point guards, second to none, Irvin Magic Johnson. Shooting, without a doubt, Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
But everywhere you turn to on YouTube, they were talking about this fake embrace debate. What's your thoughts on it?
Tomfoolery, man. Let's let it pass. Let's let it pass, man. Tomfoolery. Come on, man. You describing two totally different eras, two totally different levels of monsters. And Steph Curry is a great player.
Right.
This man can shoot from anywhere. insane shooting skills,
Yes.
insane ability to, he got good handles, good. I mean, he plays hard for. He's not really necessarily a big guy, but he plays hard, man. He plays hard in the position. But you talking about Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson got championships. Magic Johnson has played with Hall of Famers. Some of the beastly of beastly Hall of Famers. Johnson got rivalries. Johnson has played through some of the worst, craziest games and insane. Come on, man. Magic Johnson. Magic. Come on, man.
Come on.
Look how tall Magic was. And look how all these dudes Magic had to handle. All the folks Magic had to play against, man.
I don't
Magic had to deal with one of my fault. Magic had to deal with one of the top insane shooters that we had in our era there.
Yes.
And Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
If you ain't know, the Bird's the word.
With you being a Boston fan, and I respect that, Larry Bird was Larry Bird. Come on, man.
That dude was different. Larry Bird was a black man trapped in a white man's body. Who said that? Somebody said something similar to that. I think it was Gary Payton or something like that.
Yes.
But it's crazy. Somebody has said something like that. Because the way he could tell you off is bonkers, man. He had trash talk for days, but the smoothest trash talk.
So I'm
Magic Johnson played in the era of Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, all these monsters.
I want to say this to you. Magic has one more NBA championship than Steph Curry, right?
Yeah.
I think he has 2 more MVPs than Steph Curry.
Yep.
2 more final MVPs and 3 more regular season MVPs. He was on 5 more all NBA first teams, more than Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
What we've done is create another player to show you the gap. So it would take, when you're leveling up Magic and Steph Curry, you would need another Hall of Fame player to come in to level up with Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah. As simple as that, man.
I'll leave it there.
Steph's going to be his own legend.
Oh, Curry's a legend.
It's all said and done.
He's a legend.
But calm down, man.
He's a legend.
But they got to calm down.
You know what I think the true problem here is? Curry's 6'2", Magic was 6'9".
And that makes things even more crazy.
Yes.
Because look at the position like Magic Johnson was playing.
Yes.
That's what makes it crazy. That's what makes it crazy.
If you think about it, Magic could play all 5 positions.
Yeah.
So it leads to this. Do you think there would be less LeBron hate? If we can run back the clock, Joe, would there be less LeBron hate if LeBron was compared to Magic Johnson rather than Michael Jordan? Do you think he would receive less hate, or it would be just the same? And the only reason I say that is because LeBron 6'9", Magic 6'9".
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ball handling skills, defense, rebounds.
Yeah.
He didn't have the same level of ball handling skills because, we saw LeBron get his pocket picked on several occasions when they were trying to trot him out there as a point guard.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, do you think there would be less hate? Because when you say LeBron's name and he's had a storied career, but there's disdain on the internet.
Yeah, because you compare him to Michael Jordan.
Because you compare him to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But if he was compared to Magic Johnson, I think, me personally, I think it would be less.
I think so. It'd be less too. I think it would be less. It'd be a lot less pressures. They'll complain, but it won't be as crazy as when you compare
Right.
to Jordan. No.
Right.
No. Because Jordan took things to a whole nother level.
Yes.
That's what it is.
And Magic was Magic, a facilitator.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get you 20 points. I'll get you 12 assists. I'll get you 7 or 8 rebounds. And you're like, yo, I'm good with that. I'm good with those numbers.
Yeah, we can't even get into the LeBron or Kobe rivalry. Oh my God. I don't even want to open that back.
Because we would turn into one of those fake embrace debate shows.
Word up, man. I can't do that. No way.
Oh man. Couple other items to get to, but I wanted to get into with you what's going on behind you. My man Holloway against the Korean Zombie. Dude. UFC Fight Night. What's going on in the world of combat sports, Mr. B?
Bruh. There's 2 good boxing events this weekend. On Saturday. Thank goodness. But this behind me right here is ridiculous. At approximately 5 o'clock on Saturday morning, this card will begin for everyone in North America.
I gotta jump in here. 5
a.m. Eastern. 2 a.m. Pacific will be the prelim portion of this card. 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific will be the main card portion of this card. As number 1, Max Holloway, the number 1 contender in the featherweight division, Max Holloway, will face the Korean Zombie, number 8, Chan Sung Jung. This card will be taking place live in Singapore. They're jumping into the Singapore market. They haven't been in Singapore in a minute. Yeah, in a while. You know, we got another organization that does well in Singapore. So I guess that's why the UFC is coming back to Singapore in one championship. They're coming over here, though. They're doing this because the majority of the card is based off people on the East. So the Korean contingency, the Chinese, the Japanese, and those of the in the East. The Far East, we say? The Far East, yeah. A lot of those fighters will be on this card. So due to that, they put it on at this time so that viewership could catch it. But it should be a good card nonetheless. A lot of the guys they signed from their feeder system of the show The Road to the UFC, that's on UFC Fight Pass. So they got a lot of those talents over there that'll be facing some of the US talent. And we'll get a mix of some of them, the Japanese versus Japanese and whatnot. But it should be pretty good, man. But that main event is pretty crazy. Also, Erin Blanchfield will be on this card. She will be climbing up against taking a big test in the women's flyweight division as she faces the former UFC flyweight title challenger Tyler Santos out of Brazil. Santos has been a machine pretty much, but she's been out because of the visa issues. Not necessarily with her, but her husband wasn't able to travel with her, who's also a coach, uh, her coach. So she didn't want to travel without him. So she's been put on the sideline for a little bit. Along with that, we also got Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. This is a rematch from a little while back. Two of the top, yeah, I think two of the top 10 guys in the division right now. Anthony Smith challenged John Jones for the title a few years back. Ryan Spann is on the climb. Pretty good matchup there. Giga Chikadze, who hasn't fought in quite some time, could due to injury, will be facing Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy, who's practically grown up before our eyes in this division because he got picked up during the Ultimate Fighter season some years ago, about 10 years ago or so. It's been over a decade since he's fought with the company. That's pretty impressive. There's also some good matchups in the mix as well. But we're not here for that. What we're here for, which will get Ted's attention, there's two big title fights on Saturday. No, not two big title fights, but two boxing matches on Saturday. One will be taking place towards the evening, if I remember correctly, towards the evening, nighttime. Actually, the night, where it will be young man Jared Anderson showing up again. He fought earlier this year, actually just a few months ago. He'll be facing the 35-6 Andriy Rudenko out of the Ukraine. Pretty damn good fight. Live on ESPN Plus, Top Rank. They stocked this with a lot of undefeated guys on this card as well. But matchups you want to check out, the Philippines. Charlie Suarez, who's 15-0, will be facing a guy out of DR by the name of Johan Velasquez. Do check that matchup out. Also, Nico Ali Walsh. Shout out to Biagio Ali Walsh, who fought on Wednesday on the PFL 9 card. He was on the main card. He got a win by TKO. This is his brother, Nico. Nico will be continuing his undefeated streak. He's currently 8-0. The grandsons of one Muhammad Ali, the nephews of one Layla Ali. Yes, indeed. So, big props over there as well. We got some other good matchups on this card as well. But if you like nice boxing action, a couple of guys on the rise, do check it out. But at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, we'll start the card that we all have our eyes on. The Ukrainian, the current I hold all the real titles, Alexander Usyk, Mr. WBA, IBF, WBO, IBO, will be facing his mandatory challenger, the 19-1 Daniel Dubois. When I say WTF, WTF, this is a risky fight for Alexander Usyk. Dubois is a big boy. Dubois took that hiccup against Joe Joyce. Usyk is not as big as Joe Joyce. Usyk don't got the KO power. He can KO people, but it takes time. Dubois is a big cat. And if Dubois lands clean, you're going to sleep. This is a matchup, if you're looking at it from the aspects of fight fan, Tyson Fury is hoping Dubois wins this fight because it'll be an easier fight for him than it would be if he had to face Alexander Usyk. Usyk has continued his rise from the cruiserweight champion, the undisputed cruiserweight, to damn near practically the undisputed heavyweight champion. We also got his fellow countryman, Dennis Barinchik, 17-0, facing Anthony Yigit out of Sweden, 27-3-1 in a lightweight bout. We got Hamza Shiraz, there you go, out of England, 17-0 against Dmitro Mitrofanov out of the Ukraine as well. There's a dude by the name of Anwel Gamisengwe who's 12-0 out of the district, the Congo, versus Fyodor Cherkashin out of the Ukraine. Not out of the Ukraine, out of Poland. Do check that out. That fight. Other than that, there's quite a bit of fights on this card. Young up-and-comers and some real good guys. Bryce Mills is going to be fighting a dude that's 7-2-1 by the name of Damian Timos. Mills is pretty damn good. So do check the rest of this card out. Big deal. Big fights. And if you're a lunatic that likes violence, that likes really crazy violence, BKFC 49 will be on tomorrow, Friday. For the BKFC welterweight title, Gorjan Slaveski will be facing Jake Lindsay. Lindsay's out of Kansas, and Slaveski fights, if I remember, I think it's Macedonia. There you go. Jesus Christ. Macedonia. But yeah, man, he's riding a really good win streak. So these guys will be facing each other. There's also some good fights in the mix as well. They have, if I could, the co-main. Tom Schoaf out of Illinois will be facing a dude by the name of Bryce Henry. Schoaf is always entertaining when it comes to the fights. Always, he puts on a showing, and he also has a cool mustache. He got an old school like 60s mustache, the little curl, like way back the Charlie Chaplin days. You got the little curly ends there, yeah. But other than that, man, some really good action going on there. But that's all that's pretty much been going on. Other than that, Dana White's Contender Series still shows on Tuesdays. And we still looking to see what's going on as far as the PFL and what Bellator is going to be doing. Is Conor coming back to fight, because Conor's got to wait till next year to fight now. There's a big whole issue with Conor McGregor, but I don't want to get into that. But that's all that's happening right now, man.
Just as a follow-up question, Mr. B, the whole deal with PFL. I mean, PFL and Bellator, or who could be the next organization or entity to purchase Bellator 300. There's definitely some news that's going to happen on or around Bellator 300 about the state of the company. Would you say?
Yes, indeed. From what I've gathered, Scott Coker has talked about having events past Bellator 300. The problem is his response is kind of vague. It's been kind of vague because it's like, okay, we can have events past Bellator 300, but is it going to be under the actual Bellator umbrella itself, or will it be under whoever purchases Bellator? You know what I mean? It can also be a co-event as well. But from what I've gathered, man, PFL's in the running to buy Bellator. But I also mentioned, I think there was a talk. I've heard it from a source on Twitter, actually a really reliable source, that there seems to be an idea of buying Bellator and sharing their fighters within the PFL, the UFC, and what other organizations.
Whoa.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. It's it's pretty a big. This is something similar to like almost like an NBA type move if you think
Right,
about it back
right,
in the days. Yeah,
right.
when they did the whole merger thing.
Yes.
Um,
ABA and NBA.
yeah, or pro wrestling. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Same thing. Um, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. What big stars will be shipped where, um, as well as the moves because PFL now has signed. Not only do they have Clarissa Shields, not only did they pick up Amanda Serrano, but on Wednesday they announced they signed Savannah Marshall.
What?
Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields, and Amanda Serrano will be taking part in MMA events come next year.
Whoa.
The undisputed women's middleweight champ, super middleweight champ, and featherweight champs are taking part in the PFL. In this whole movement, they call it PFLW, which is for women's empowerment through combat sports. So what we're going to be seeing is a wave of female talent. What I'm seeing, or what it seems for them to be saying, or what I'm going to be looking at, is a wave of female talent that will be showing up from possibly every walk of combat sports, taking part in this to see what happens. Not only will these ladies be fighting, Kayla Harrison will be showing her face in 2024 because the PFL dropped the ball and not having her fight in
Right.
2023. Get me mad. But yeah, it's a big deal. It's a bit of a big deal. Some people got lost in the mix as to what the announcement was. With the PFLW thing. Is it a division? What
Right.
is it? Is women's empowerment? And they're gonna have showcase fights, and I guess they're gonna be signing some ladies from different paths, in
Wow.
different disciplines of combat sports, I guess, to take part, man. But Amanda Serrano is coming back to mixed martial arts. She had a brief stint with Combate Americas, but she was under. I think she was 2-1 or 2-0. But yeah, she fought for Combate Americas. Did pretty good for herself. Um, yeah, and Clarissa Shields, she was all right. She did all right. You know what I mean? She did get the one loss, but early. We'll see what Savannah Marshall does. We'll even see if they mix it up between Shields and Marshall. Who knows? Shields and Marshall MMA fight? Psh, sign me up.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So I guess it's safe to say, I know it's still early, it's safe to say Paramount Global wants to get out of the Bellator business. Or, this kind of dovetails into another discussion of how some of these companies, like we saw Bob Iger 2 months ago talk about potentially, ESPN spinning off and selling ABC networks and all of this other stuff.
Yep.
And what we're seeing is these legacy broadcast networks shedding themselves of, trying to get as lean as some of these streaming providers.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So I'm wondering I look at it, I fired up Netflix the other day. My daughter called me and she was asking me about the Netflix password.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right. I said, the Netflix password, here's the Netflix password. And she was like, it doesn't work. And I said, stop. It's one password for all you guys, okay?
Yeah.
It's not multiple.
No more sharing no more. Yeah.
It's one password, okay? And
Yep.
when they tell me that the amount goes from $19.99 to $25 or $30.99, that's when everyone's getting cut. I said, I fired up Netflix and I saw Ballers, the entire 5 seasons, and
Yeah.
I saw all of these HBO shows on that, and I said, we're watching how some of this stuff is being detangled.
Yep.
And I say all of this by saying, yeah, Paramount Global is probably getting out of Bellator, looking for the highest bidder.
Yeah.
And if PFL is ready to do something, that would be great for mixed martial arts.
Yes, indeed.
If they want to share the wealth, if they want to say, hey, we're going to purchase this, we're going to release everyone, kind of like when Tony Khan purchased ROH.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone is available to go negotiate whatever they want, and we're going to keep this core of entertainers or athletes.
Right.
And make them available. It kind of feels like a little bit what you were talking about a few minutes ago. It kind of feels like AEW. It kind of feels like the indie market where you can go fight wherever you want to go fight. And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
I really, really like that.
Yeah, man. It's getting into that feel. And sidebar again.
Mm-hmm.
Got to bring it up because I brought it up through the group chat, man.
Yes.
The lawsuit.
Yes.
The lawsuit.
The lawsuit.
The lawsuit against the UFC is going up. 2024. We may be seeing a trial happen.
Yes.
If that thing goes through, you think that whole wrestling thing and people being able to walk around and leave and be free to go to other places is crazy?
Yes.
Imagine that in the combat sports world.
I think
we've seen just one guy do it, and he's currently walking around with all the welterweight belts.
Yes. Yes.
Can you imagine that happening to the UFC champ?
That'd be crazy.
We've seen one guy in the UFC do it.
Yes.
Francis Ngannou. That's another guy.
Ngannou.
He managed to walk. Now imagine the freedom that every other fighter would have if this lawsuit goes through. This lawsuit manages to go through. Man, there's old guys, because this lawsuit opens a Pandora's box to a series of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we're talking about here is that people got to get paid for using their likeness.
Retroactively.
Yeah, retroactively. The illegal business practices of buying the competition out.
Yes.
Buying the fighters out of the competition. Stuff like that, man, is going to open a Pandora's box to what else you're going to be doing now. You open up the doors for the Ali Act.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of things to happen.
Yes.
If these dudes lose this case, that's $1.6 billion going to about 1,200 fighters.
Woo!
If they win this to the excess, it's nearly $5 billion being separated amongst 1,200 fighters.
Wow. It wouldn't shut down the parent company of the new WWE and UFC conglomerate, but it would be a punch in the face.
It will rattle. It will rattle the UFC.
It'd be a punch in the face, and you might lose some teeth.
And they've been trying to go at it for a long time to not have this case go to trial.
Mm-hmm. They
have been throwing, conjunctions? Is it? They've been trying to delay this case from going to trial.
Well, you got to remember.
I forgot the term they use. I forget that term, man.
You got to remember, it's you got one
more.
more
Delay the Yeah, this is the latest case.
You got one war chest that's larger than the other war chest, and they're like, hey, we're gonna just wait you out, and we're going to just push it so far out there that you'll just be like, they'll be like, hey, you want to settle? You want to settle for pennies on a dollar? And you know, thankfully,
it's been crazy, man. So we have these guys that have been at this for like a damn near a decade, taking this thing to trial, and they've managed to say, "Yo, because of these guys, the uh, the UFC had to restructure contracts because what is it? The what's that joint called? The sunset clause. There you go.
okay,
The sunset clause. When the day comes, the dude could just easily walk away.
right.
So because of that situation, they had to restructure all the contracts. They restructured every fighter's contract. Because of that clause, Nate Diaz walked away. Francis Ngannou was able to just walk away. You see, they couldn't do that with guys when they because they restructured Anderson Silva, or Anderson Silva would have been able to walk away.
Right.
George St. Pierre would have been able to walk away, but they readjusted their contracts. As I mentioned before, they owed Anderson Silva money. They owed George St. Pierre money. George St. Pierre still signed to those dudes. That's why he's going to be competing in jiu-jitsu, so he can still get his money. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's some underlying tactics these dudes be using. But because of that clause, due to the lawsuits these guys filed, the class action lawsuit, those things have helped some of these fighters get away, but it's caused the UFC to switch up tactics to try to hold these fighters down, man. But it's gonna be an interesting trial, and I hope we can see that on TV, man.
Yes.
I want that aired for the public.
I just like I said, we used the word earlier, competition. I like the fact when, you know, we get happy when we saw John Moxley show up to GCW and then show up to MLW. Maybe not even fight, but just be there.
Yeah.
You know, providing some type of analysis or something like that. You know, we understand when you are exclusive to, you sign to, you know, your likeness and everything, and they're paying you appropriately. Like, we'll never see, I don't think we'll ever see, well, the most we may see is Roman Reigns show up to a UFC event, because once that company becomes totally entangled, I can see the cross promotion happening.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but you would like to see, hey, there's this, you know, there's a lot of great indie organizations out there for them to you know, feel a little bit of love. You, like I said, I really enjoy going to GCW events, and they have like a small core of performers, athletes, and they just have people from other promotions coming in.
Yep.
And I think that's potentially your model.
Yeah.
You know, hey, we're gonna sign you for a one-time event, one-time appearance. Here's X amount of dollars you're gonna make. You go out there, you go do your thing, and then you're off to the next location.
Yep.
You know, especially if you're not, you know, if you're doing, you know, a halfway job with providing help for insurance and everything else, because we know that's always questionable. I don't know. I just love talking combat sports with you, because you kind of give us the inside baseball version of it, of what's happening, and everything else like that. Like I said, I like Bellator. I mean,
I like Bellator too.
Yeah, we know UFC is up there.
Uh-huh.
And what you said earlier, the fact that UFC is going into Asia.
Yeah, they're going back into the Asian. Yeah, because they do China.
Yes.
They do China. They've been working hard in China. They have a whole training center in China.
Yeah.
They built a school in China just so those fighters could learn English.
Yep.
They do a lot of that stuff out there, and I think it's in Hong Kong or in Shenzhen. Is it Shenzhen? Yeah, either Hong Kong or Shenzhen. But they have that. They have the UFC PI out there.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Because they see one nipping at their heels.
Yeah, they've been trying to plug for a minute, but yeah, especially since one has come out, they have made the push big time for the China market. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see that.
The China Japan market. They're trying to get back into Japan again. Because Japan, home of Pride, so Pride fighting championships. So that's always gonna be the war there, but also in Korea and all that. But yeah.
It's to be always good to have a B-Sides mini podcast within Late Night Parents. The B-Sides podcast is usually on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I'm trying to make it directly 4 Eastern. This week I'd have to do it on Monday because Wednesday we had an event. So
okay.
I did it around 6. But yeah, it's usually 4 p.m. Eastern Wednesdays. Yes, indeed.
I mean, and we were talking in pre-pro about you doing your podcast on the different platforms and everything. And I think 4 o'clock, I spoke with many people globally, 4 o'clock Eastern is the best time to do kind of a pod or stream and stuff that you do, because it's kind of like that it's that window of time where you could reach everybody.
Yeah.
So I think ingenious.
It's just like that. You got home. I'm trying to relax, trying to watch something, listen to something while I'm relaxing. Boom, there you go.
That's cool. Couple final topics we'll quickly get into. FIBA basketball, the Basketball World Cup. Two different things, because Soccer World Cup, which is a global event.
Yes.
And then there's FIBA World Cup, which is not so much a global event.
No. Not much.
Not much. We'll go here. Let's see. The one thing is, there's going to be 92 games that are going to be available. Basketball FIBA World Cup is going to be exclusively on ESPN platforms. So, just as we always talk about the layoffs and everything else, they're airing all the games. Of course, they're going to air all of USA Basketball. And it starts officially today, August 25th through September 10th. And it's, carried between ESPN Plus. Of course, they're pushing their streaming service, and then the games on ESPN2. And of course, they're going to put, Team USA Basketball will be on Big ESPN. Really, that's it on the FIBA basketball.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on FIBA basketball before I go to?
Well, if anything, I look forward to it. I know, unfortunately, Ricky Rubio will not be playing.
Right.
Rubio is out. He may be very well gone from basketball.
I think he's done.
Yeah, it sucks because I love watching that guy play. Man, oh man, if people, that's what I love about FIBA because all the guys, some people would be like, oh man, it's not a big deal. They've been in the league too long. Nobody cares. Once they get on that field, that court for their team, man. I also feel bad. Trae Young has been trying to get on that team, and they did not allow him to get on that team. That is so messed up, man.
Trae Young is he's he's got a lot of people kind of pissed off at him.
Yeah, and they just said, no, we're not dealing with it. You can get out of here. And he's talking about he feels better that he played better than a good portion of those players on the team. And it's like, well, buddy, I don't know. Push you over there. Well, we got Luka gonna play. We happy for that. Rudy Gobert gonna play. We happy for that. International balling is gonna be nuts, man. International balling, man. Woo, I look forward to it.
Because I had another FIBA article on the site. This is scrolling through some of the stuff we covered last week on last week's pod, but we were talking about this the other week. I just wanted to show this technology, and of course the
glass floor.
Yes.
LED?
Yes.
What?
I wanted to show this. Let's see if this will work.
That's cool, but man, make sure that stuff is reinforced, man.
Here we go. I just want to
make sure that stuff is reinforced.
Kiss me. Infect me with your love and fill me with your poison. Take me.
That is sick.
Wanna be a victim, ready for destruction. You're an alien. Your touch is alien. It's supernatural. Extraterrestrial.
You see what Samsung calls? This is all because of that Samsung. That Samsung foldable screen, you see?
Yes.
That's all because of Samsung, man.
Yeah.
Ever since that technology hit, they've had big ideas for it, man.
Just think of sponsorship and advertising.
Yeah.
You just changed the game with this.
That's all you got to do. Halftime, yo. Let's hit you with a couple of these little sponsorships, these little commercials here and there. You know what I mean? Imagine the sponsorship plugs they're going to get, man.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. That's the technology. That's the interactive floor that they're going to be on when they're playing when the World Cup starts.
Yup. And you can make things a lot lighter, too, man. You got no cheer. You need dancers? Nah, man. We got the dancers playing on the floor. We don't need real dancers. We got some dancers.
Oh
my goodness, man.
Joe.
That's cool, though. That is so cool.
Joe, August 24th. You probably saw notifications today on the internet is the most popular day for office workers to call in sick. I didn't even think you could call in sick anymore because of remote work. I didn't know that was a thing.
No, man, that still happens, man.
I didn't know. I was like,
even though some people they have remote, some people still go to offices, But even at the remote work, you can still call off sick. Yeah.
Jeez. So
I'm not well.
it was national. Today was national, the unofficial national call out sick day. We had posted about. It was also an article in Bloomberg, and it had taken data from over the past 5 years from about 300 businesses with more than 10,000 employees. That August 24th was the day that people call out sick, and it's a higher percentage than usually February 13th, which is aligned with the day after the Super Bowl when everyone calls in sick. That's the number 2 day.
Yeah, that's because everybody partying.
Yeah, everyone's partying at the Super Bowl party, and you bent backwards.
Yeah.
Other days are October 25th, which is just before Halloween. December 15th is usually about the week leading up to the Christmas holiday, Christmas and New Year's holiday.
Mm-hmm.
April 18th, which usually resides right after, April 18th, which resides right after tax day, which is usually around April 15th.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That's very true.
Because you're usually, if you are a procrastinator, you're usually at the post office trying to get your tax returns postmarked.
Yep.
February overall has been the most sickest month in the past 5 years, with 10% of workers taking sick days on average, followed closely behind April and December. I can see December, you're out there shopping for Christmas gifts.
Yep.
You just thought about that. You just had family over for Thanksgiving. You're prepping for, the holiday, whether, Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, Christmas.
And all those deals. Yeah.
You out there doing that, the old school. You remember the old school, Joe? You remember the old school Black Fridays?
Oh, man.
There would be 2 TVs at the store, and you got 1,900 people waiting online outside.
Come on, man. I gotta get that. My kids need that, man.
It's
my God.
Crazy.
Now people do Black Friday shopping online, man.
Yes. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful because I was so tired of turning on cable news and seeing people get trampled and all this other stuff.
I shouldn't laugh, but it's so true though, man.
And where I grew up in Queens, the neighboring mall was Green Acres Mall, which was in Valley Stream, New York.
Yes.
The worker, the security guard who died because he was trampled at the Walmart. Opened the door and people just
ran on, over, around,
through,
pretty much.
It was a blitz.
That man got swarmed, man. Horrible.
It was a blitz.
Horrible. And we see that happen so many times throughout the year.
Sad, Joe.
Like, people don't even care.
Sad. Joe, is sad.
Just for some stuff you could buy any other time of the year.
Yeah. I mean,
like, after you buy that stuff, you leave, they're going to restock again.
Oh, my goodness, Joe.
What are you doing?
Oh, my goodness.
And they're going to sell that stuff for cheaper than they're going to sell it on Black Friday.
Yes.
But y'all got to kill yourselves to go get it on Black Friday.
You sit there, and if you sit there and you wait for it on Cyber Monday, the following Monday, it's going to be even cheaper.
Yep. And you know what's even crazier? Wait about 3 weeks after that or so.
It's going to be even cheaper.
Even cheaper.
Yo,
man.
That week after Christmas, that's when all the deals are there. And you're just like, There you go.
Like, yeah.
And they have
Yo, 'cause
everything.
we
in
getting rid
stock.
of this. We getting rid of this. We sell it to you as little as we just getting rid of this because we got new stock.
Joe,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
People are crazy, man.
Um,
Lunacy, man.
Yo.
Lunacy that be happening so much.
last item that I have.
Oh,
Last item that
this
I
is
have.
a topic, man.
Last item I have.
Oh,
YouTube Music. YouTube plans to compensate artists for AI music. We were talking about deepfakes last week, and I
yes,
think
indeed.
we'll continue this topic on AI and deepfakes and how it impacts, employment and how what these Fortune 500 companies are doing, and Silicon Valley is doing. But YouTube is already, we know it's the YouTube Music, the copyright claim system is already one of the industry's most robust system. Still it's getting even more complicated as it adjusts the world of artificial intelligence generated content. It's launching a product called YouTube Music AI Incubator to help inform its approach to AI by working with artists, songwriters, producers, and other stakeholders to ensure everyone's rights and claims are handled appropriately. If you want to read more on this, you click on the link on the bottom. It'll take you to an article in TechCrunch.
That's
Joe,
crazy.
we got a problem.
That's crazy.
We got a problem, Joe. I mean, it's good that it's being addressed. Of course, they're going to compensate with pennies on a dollar.
Pennies on a dollar. How many dollars? How many pennies and how many dollars does
Right.
that actually equate to?
Right. But
That's
if you
the problem.
look at Hollywood and how they're, and I understand, everyone's like, it's Hollywood and they're super left and they're liberal and all this other stuff. But, everyone is up in arms on AI, on automation, on all the above. And there's nothing you can do about it because the big guy, the corporations, all they care about their bottom line. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep, indeed. And if you gotta compensate, what you gotta compensate? How many of these dollars are we really handing off to these artists?
Right.
How many of these dollars you gotta hand off to for out the blue music?
Right.
That just has your voice on it.
Yes.
It's your simulated voice.
I mean, I just threw out there pennies on a dollar.
Yeah.
You get a check, and when you get the check, you're not going to be happy with it.
Nope.
You might be even more irritated.
And now, what happens if the artist ends up listening and say, "Hey, what if I take that and turn that to my song?"
Right.
What are we doing? What if an artist ends up taking that AI creation and say, "Yo, I'm gonna use that for a song"? Now you got to meet up with the AI person who used that. You got to pay the AI creator of that song. They wrote the song. They just used your voice.
And this is the
you're
topic.
Gonna open Pandora's box.
And this is the topic of the week what are we doing right now? Because you're just going to upset people further.
Exactly. It's just gonna be pandemonium. And you know how much a person who says, "Yo, artists like my song. They like my song. They're gonna sing my song now.
Right.
How much I'm gonna charge them?
Right.
I'm gonna beat them over the head. I'm gonna beat them over the head for this song. And if they don't want to use it, I'm gonna use your voice. Fair use.
Right.
Yes. Fair use. What are you gonna do? What you gonna
Um,
do? YouTube is the land of fair use. What are you gonna do?
A, I know we're about to get out of here, but I do want to ask you about what's your take on YouTube demonetizing a whole bunch of influencers on YouTube? Is this the money game, or is this just because I noticed, I don't want to date when I saw this, but I'll say it just became, hey, so let's just say we do a video.
Mm-hmm.
Some other influencers take our video and critique it,
Mm-hmm.
and they're monetized and they're getting paid for it. And you sit here and you say, okay, should we be paid for that? Because it's our video that was being talked about?
Yeah.
I mean, but I've just noticed lately a bunch of influencers were demonetized.
Yep. And you wanna know why
Why?
that came to be? They got demonetized because they want to be hypocrites.
Hmm.
You cannot be in a space where you go about talking a certain topic or talking to a certain set of people. Other people are going to look at you, hear what you say. They put out videos based on what you say. Now, some of those people could look and agree, ha 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 ha. And then some of those people could use your content to point out hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
You saying one thing and then talking another when something else is going on. You saying one thing but doing something entirely different. It's on YouTube. It's fair use.
It's fair use.
That means then you cannot get mad when these things are pointed out by somebody else and then you want to throw things at them. Now you talk about, oh, I'm tough and I do this and I'm that and this is how things go here.
Mm-hmm.
Then when people critique what you're saying, you hurt my feelings because you don't agree with what I'm doing. You don't agree with what I'm saying. I'm gonna get them a copyright strike.
Right.
Strike you.
Right.
Strike you.
3 strikes, you're out.
Yep. But when those strikes don't mean nothing because of the land of fair use,
Right.
we have a problem.
Right.
And YouTube looks at that and YouTube says, you're trying to use our laws to take away from other people on this platform? People who are trying to do what you're doing, who are trying to make a living with content, and there's a following of these people that are doing the content? Nah, we can't do that.
Right.
But you know what's even crazier? When those same influencers that do that go to the extreme for their content
Yes.
and think everybody's cool with it.
Right.
No. And that's when you get dumbed down. Sadly, this happened with one of the red pill groups by the name of Fresh and Fit. These guys out of Miami.
Yeah.
They went and portrayed themselves to be something they're quite not fully. But it gets views. They put ladies on there because it gets views.
Mm-hmm.
They talk down to the ladies because it gets views. It makes them look cool. Underlying situation though, you put ladies who are IG models and OnlyFans people. Then you talk about how they have nothing besides their OnlyFans and IGs.
Mm-hmm.
Your fan base, which are supposed to be strong men, strong red-pilled men, and young men, are now subscribers to those girls' OnlyFans pages.
Hypocrites.
Yo, we got a problem. We got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's seeing it. Nobody's seeing what the game that's being played. Everybody else wanted to follow in the footsteps of Kevin Samuels
Yes.
without reading the playbook.
Yes.
And this is what we get.
Yep.
So all those people are butthurt and they're losing out. We got that ginger-haired grifter. She's a whole nother story in itself.
Yep.
A lot of those other guys too, the old guys who talk about you got to get this woman and but they over there talking to 22-year-olds and whatnot and being sugar daddies, but talk about this is how I be getting women. You got to be demanding and this and that. But y'all here being sugar daddies. It's not the game, bro. That's not game.
Crazy.
What are you doing? And that's how they end up demonetized. So now those folks, they go off to wherever they got to go now. Rumble,
Yes.
Kick, wherever they're going.
Yes.
Hope they get to monetization. Hope they get the fan base that they got on YouTube, because you'll be surprised how quick people will forget. You know what I mean? The young kids, they'll probably go and tune in, but eventually they'll tune out because they got to age eventually. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Thank you for the summary. Funny about the ginger hair person. So you hit all the discussion points. I want to thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah.
There are some good people in that sphere who actually speak the knowledge, because they talked to that man before that man passed away,
Right.
to fully understand what it is they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Credit to them. But as I said, talk to the man, learn from the man, read the playbook, but
Mm-hmm.
learn from him while he was there. Just don't go in there blind. They got to pay for it. Do I
Wow.
feel bad? Nah, I don't feel bad. They made him good enough money. Deal with it.
Yes.
You open that hornet's nest. You bop that hornet's nest. You went into that flame with highly combustible clothes. You dealt with that. That's on you. That's on you.
You doused yourself with gasoline.
Yep.
You took out the book of matches. You struck the match.
Yep.
And before you struck that match, you said, I kind of know what's going to happen here, but you know what? I'm going to just take a shot.
Yep.
And now you're in the situation that you're in.
Yep. Because views mattered more to you.
Yes.
The purpose of what you was doing it for.
Clicks matter. Sad. Big sad. Hey, best ways we can follow you, Mr. B.
New Year's same B at Mr. B on Twitter, because I refuse to call it the other name. I'm on OK Live whenever there's fights going down. So if there's a fight on the week, Saturdays, I'm there. If there's a fight on Wednesday, I'm there. OK Live. The account is Mr. B. I got my little podcast show I do, the B-sides of the fight game with Mr. B, that airs on Wednesdays. Sometimes I'll do a random joint, but definitely the main ones are on Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And I show up on whenever everybody else is streaming, I'll show up on their stream, man. But I'm here, man.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to do a Belt Kings this Sunday, because I'm supposed to be going to the Mets game. I'm going to find out if that's definitely a go, because like I said, Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if he's going to be playing. But I look forward to streaming with you on Belt Kings, Tony D's Belt Kings, us talking about fantasy football.
Yes.
In the third week
It's
of
almost
fantasy
time.
games. So I'm guessing we're going to be drafting soon.
Yes.
I don't know. But
Ready.
We'll see. I know this is I mean, you know what? This is a long broadcast. I can cut this into 2 different episodes. That's the beautiful thing about it. And there's so many different great topics on here that we
Yes,
covered.
you did.
So I want to thank you definitely for that. I want to thank everyone on for our replay listeners, because I know we started a little bit later than
Yeah.
what we usually start. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll catch the archive viewers and or listeners to the weekly podcast and live stream. So this is Ted Hicks. This is Mr. B. And this is Late Night Parents.